This is my hometown, Comanche, Oklahoma. I was raised here. In fact, I've spent most of my life here. Just a small place, the locals call it Cowtown. But I have to say, even as an adult, there's no place like home. Welcome to Comanche. Comanche is known for several things. The name, of course, came from the Comanche Indian tribes. They were a fierce tribe of Plains Indians. 100 years ago, they had a huge carnival here in Comanche, and the Indian tribes from all over the country would come in and set up their teepees along the Cow Creek, and cowboys would come in. They would reenact Indian battles and have rodeos. It must have been an exciting time. Even before that, when they were having the big cattle drives, the Chisholm Trail came right through here, right through Comanche. More recently, it's been known for oil development, but of course, Comanche's the most famous because it's the home of Larry Martin. In fact, I tell you, you could go anywhere in Comanche and say to anybody, "Do you know Larry Martin?" And they'll look at you and say, "Larry who?"
Larry who?
Larry who?
Larry who?
We're at 501 South 8th Street, and this is the little house where I grew up. In fact, I lived here from about the time I was born until I was a young adult. My dad built this little house with his own bare hands, and it didn't look exactly like this when I lived here. It had a shingled roof and ugly green asbestos siding, but this is the house on this once gravel street in Comanche, Oklahoma, where Larry Martin grew up. Many times in my bedroom, I prayed that God would use me to preach the gospel around the world. I never knew how far I would go and how much God would help me, but I give him all the glory. The first church that I pastored was in Tennessee. That was in 1974, and we brought some little pine trees from that church and planted them here in the yard. They're pretty good sized trees today. In front of me is the sidewalk that I used to walk to grade school, ride my bicycle. The grade school's gone now, burned down, and the sidewalk's all grown up. But I still have precious memories of the time I was a boy living right here in Comanche. Now I'm at the Assembly of God Church, or the old Assembly of God Church at 4th and Patterson here in Comanche. This is the church where I was raised and brought up in the faith. My mom and dad got saved here in 1947. Well, it actually wasn't this building. It was an old white frame building that sat on this hill at 4th and Patterson. A couple of lady evangelists, Sister Fisher and Sister Cheek, the old-fashioned kind with buns on their head, they came through Comanche in 1947, had a glorious 6 weeks revival. So many people got saved, including my parents, and people walked to church in the snow just to be in the house of God. Well, after that, they tore down that frame building. They built a block building, and I've got a picture of my mom holding me standing out in front of that church with a crowd of people, probably early in 1953. Well, it was here that I first found faith. It was here that I heard the gospel of Jesus Christ. It was here that people prayed for me. It was in this church that I preached my first sermon. The pastor of that church back when I was born, the man that dedicated me to the Lord, was David A. Roper. And Brother Roper was a great man of God. When my mom became pregnant with me, I was the 4th child, and I was unexpected. And Brother Roper told me that Daddy came to him. Of course, my parents would never told me this, but he said, my daddy came to him and said, "Brother Roper, I don't know what we're going to do now. We've got a 4th child on the way." And Brother Roper said, "Brother Martin, don't worry about it. This one might be a preacher." Well, he didn't know it, but that old pastor was prophesying, because for 45 years now I've been preaching the gospel of Jesus Christ around the world. And you know what? I've got greater vision now than I've ever had in my life. I believe I can reach 1 million souls for Jesus Christ in my lifetime. All I need is your help. For $20,000, I can preach a crusade in Ethiopia and reach thousands and thousands for Jesus Christ. I need you to help me. I need you to help me with a significant offering. If you could give an offering of $1,000, $1,000 would reach 1,000 people. If you could get more than that, think of how much reward you would have in heaven. Well, if you can't give 1,000, could you do the best that you could do? Even $100 will reach 100 people in Ethiopia. I want to thank you for what you've already done. Thank you for sending us to Ethiopia already, and thank you for helping us go back. We want to reach the world for Jesus Christ. I want the young preacher came out of this church in Comanche, Oklahoma, to reach 1 million souls for Jesus in his lifetime. Thank you for partnering with us in revival.
Ini